Well, we're going to start this video with an example of Mr. Cockup coming to visit. I decided it was time to get the steering rack in, and it fouls the nice 3D printed bracket that I made for the brake reservoir. I think I'm just going to have to move these forward a bit. I'm not sure quite how much space I've got before it starts fouling where the bodywork would be. Or I'll have to have a look. I might be able to just 3D print with it being a little bit tighter on that corner there. Oh well, that's all part of the fun, I believe. Not sure. I suppose I hadn't printed that before this build, which is probably why I didn't notice that before. Oh well, there we go. Quick little look around and see what I've been doing in between showing you the videos. I know it's hard to tell, but I've actually been starting to do the wiring and the brake hoses, trying to tidy up the run down the middle. I know you can't really tell from there, can you? You can see here brake hoses there. Hopefully you can see my 3D printed clips are working quite well. And then up on the engine, I've started looming everything in. So P-clips as far as possible, because I keep hearing how Mr. IVA has now taken an objection to cable ties. He seemed to be happy with cable ties 5 years ago when I did the Exo-booster. Evidently he no longer likes cable ties and wants to see P-clips. So using as many P-clips as possible to get it all neat and tidy. Engine's now running, ticking over of sorts. Hopefully I'll show you a bit of science later, because if Posty arrives with some baffles, I'm going to do a little noise test just on tick over of volume of tick over with that exhaust, and then with some removable baffles in, and just see what difference it makes. But of course I'm on full noise alert at the moment, so won't be revving or anything like that. Well, I wouldn't anyway, even if I wasn't on being monitored by my mystery neighbour. I wonder if they're watching now. Don't say anything too loud. I suppose really all I need to do is find out which one of my neighbours is called Karen, because that would be the one who's complained, wouldn't it? It's time for a little bit of crude science, bad science, whatever way you want to call it. Posty brought these along yesterday. These, two of them. They're like insertable baffles. So basically exhaust has no way through the end there. Holes. I mean, that's going to create a massive block for exhaust. What I want to do is we're going to measure what difference these make. Now the reason I say it's fairly crude science is obviously I'm on my driveway outside my house, so we have to be very wary. I can't rev the car up and all that sort of stuff. To be honest, the map's not set yet, so this is going to be probably 1500 RPM. The bit that is reasonably scientific is I have my dB meter. You don't recognise that one? No foam on the end. If you want to know why, go see the video I did on the noise competition at Bewley. But I've put it on top of some foam, so hopefully not too much of the noise is transmitted through there. And we're roughly half a metre away. It's not 45, it's more than 45 degrees. But because I'm just trying to see what difference those make, as long as this all remains the same, we can measure the difference, which is all I'm really after. At some time in the future, I will do a proper noise test, because I need to make sure this is going to be compliant for IVA. So I may try again with these in and out. But just for now, you'll have to put up with some very crude science. So got the laptop connected, and I've set the RPM to 1300. So we know we're using the same revs. Okay, so we're on a fairly steady 1500 RPM there. we've got a pretty steady, it's not torque because I'm louder than the engine. We're about 86 dB. Well, that was pretty simple. That went in, I don't know, 30 seconds. Let's see what it does. To my ear, it doesn't sound much different. Let's see what the meter says. Very little difference, is it? Maybe a dB. Still see it's me talking is louder than the exhaust. I suppose these things, the higher the revs, the more noise. I don't know if it's like a percentage. Yeah, so what you had, the Haltech software is called NSP, I don't know, probably stands for something. They do have a lot of kind of base tables that you can download. That's my base table that I downloaded, ignoring that bit because that's where I put a load of stuff in. Now, all the stuff that comes with the software is just for K20. I messaged Haltech, who said they had a K24 base table, which was in here, but it was way off. Now it could be it was for, because the table they sent me was actually for the older version of this ignition, which is called a 1500 something, and this is the S2. So it could be because of that. Also, obviously, I've not left things standard. We've got that air intake, we've got a different throttle body, we've got different injectors, which I have told it. You tell it which injectors you've got. Obviously, we've got a different exhaust. So I thought it would still be in the ballpark, but it's not. Anyway, that's why it wasn't ticking over before. We've now got a tick over. So what I need to do, you can see the cells in here that have kind of, you know, decimal places. These are the ones it started correcting itself on. The ones that are just whole numbers and above here. So that was the rough numbers I put in, and these are the old numbers. So what I need to do is just increase the tick over. You can only do small bits of this chart because obviously we can't load the engine. But just increase the RPM 50 at a time to start getting up into these other zones to start getting correct numbers in. So it's just a case of just slowly increasing RPM and letting it do its bit, really. So I'll put you down here so you can watch all this excitement. Of course, I've got to add the normal caveat. I wouldn't even say I'm no expert. I don't really have much idea. I know the theory behind these. I'm not that familiar with this software. I'm not a tuner. It's just me at home doing my thing. So what we'll do is we'll get it running. This little cross is telling us what box we're in at the moment. So we'll go into idle control. Target RPM, so we'll go 15, 50, enter. You can see the output there. What I do is go, because it uses both when it's near. So basically just go up nice and steady. What we can do is we'll look in these trim tables. So you can see here, this is the changes that it's saying I need to make to that base fuel table. So it's around this area. So what we do then is we go to here and it says apply to base table. Yes, please. And we've now changed the figures in around this area. You can see how they're now kind of got points and things rather than just zeros. So my plan is really with these is you can kind of see the areas I've done. There is some kind of pattern to it. It's just to carry that pattern on all the way up so these figures are in the ballpark, because obviously at the moment if I went to 5,000 that's going to halve the fuel, you know, which is not going to do me any good at all. So that's the plan. I'll do that. I might take it a little bit more revs later in the day. Obviously I need to be quite careful with noise and stuff like that. So there we are, another little job half done. So I've just put figures in here, not sort of rough and ready. Or if you're going to do anything like this, always bear on the side of rich. You're better off with it a little bit rich than a little bit lean. Well, yeah, rich is a bit safer than lean, is my understanding of these things, but obviously check these things are correct for yourself. Up at this zone, this is positive pressure, which whilst the engine's normally aspirated, we should never see this zone, because of course there's no way we should be able to get up in there, but I put numbers in just to be safe so it doesn't suddenly drop off lean at the top. Next job I want to do is check these pedal positions are correct. If you remember a while back I was saying because of the space was different on the master cylinders, well I thought it was different, I wasn't 100% sure I've got that pedal box in the right position, and obviously I don't know, did I show you? I 3D printed some like little heel plate things so I can get those in position as well. So to do that obviously I need to put the seat in, so I'm going to get the seat in and then I've got to do my best Spider-Man bit and climb up into the car and kind of feel how it feels. I've got the seat in a fit of health and safety. I've put the engine hoist on the back there because obviously since I've modified this trolley build platform, whatever you want to call it, I haven't actually got in the car, so I thought if I do that at least we shouldn't come completely crashing to the ground. So I just need to go and get these big boots off and put something on that I can actually get my feet on the pedals, and then we'll see what it's like. Do you ever think, why on earth did you do that, Sean? So I haven't yet got in and I'm looking, I'm going to have to protect these cables in some way, and then from my heel on the clutch pedal, and then you think, well, why didn't I just run it up that edge there and then it's well away from my foot? So why did Sean 2 days ago think that that was a good idea when going up there is so clearly a better way of doing it? It's strange really, isn't it? You know, how a different day the bleeding obvious can be bleeding obvious, but the other day it wasn't. Anyway, enough of that. I've got to try and clamber in here now. I'm going to try and do this without braining myself. Let's turn hitchhikers down a little bit. I don't know how much Zaphod Beetlebrox and Arthur Dent are bleeding into this sound. Right, I apologise for the horrible white legs you're about to see. I hope I can get back out of this. Been embarrassing. Phone call to the fire brigade. Pedals. They're definitely in the offset position. I can't move them across anymore because obviously we won't have room there. Oh dear, look at those weird sausages that are in my car. It's actually offset a bit, but I put the seat in the furthest right position. I think I'll put the seat one across, and I'm definitely led back at too much of an angle here. But I think those pedals are okay, and heel plate. One thing they are maybe is a little bit close. Distance to steering wheel's pretty good. Some gears going on. The thing I don't, if anybody knows about these gear things, I think there's an adjustment on it, because you can see it goes into gear, but normally you'd expect when it's in gear for the gear lever to stay in position, but it kind of returns to the neutral even though it's in gear. Obviously I don't really want that, because it's going to be hard. It makes it difficult to know, you know, put your hand down and know what gear. If anybody's got any experience with these sort of, you know, eBay alley gear shift mechanisms, there are some adjustments on that I haven't played around with yet. I'm assuming that one of them means it doesn't do this coming back thing. You see how that's in first, but the lever is sort of coming back. That's second. So I don't, it's staying in position that way okay, but it seems to return to the middle on the left right, which obviously I don't really want. I don't know, maybe it's some sort of idea of a quick shift, because then maybe you can go second to third quicker. I'm not too sure, but I don't really want it that way. If anyone knows what I need to adjust on here, comments below, it'd be really useful. Anyway, I'm going to sit here for a minute and relax, because it is quite comfy, this seat, and then I'm going to try and get out again, which might not be quite so comfy. Okay, so you'll be pleased to know I did manage to get out of the car. As you can probably see, I'm editing the video, and I realised I didn't do an ending. So thanks to everyone who's left comments on the last videos and suggestions and things. As I always say, it's really useful, really helpful. I am going through a little bit of a, I think it's probably because of the heat at the moment, but a kind of a slightly feeling, fed up's not quite right, but I don't seem to have a spark for going out and working on the car at the moment. So your comments and encouragement are really quite useful. I'm sure that will come back, and it will probably come back when the temperature drops down. I just show you this. I don't know, can you see that? That's the temperature gauge in my office. So the sun hits the side of the house where the office is in the afternoon, and you can see that temperature. So maybe it's not me being an oversensitive fella when it comes to temperature. It is pretty hot out there, and it could well be why my mojo's a little bit low. I'm probably low on spoons at the moment. Anyway, I hope everyone's coping with this okay, and I'm hoping it goes away pretty soon. And I shall see you all soon. Bye.